Hi Year 8s. Today we are doing scale drawings. Generally, students find this one a little bit tricky to understand, but I'll explain it nice and simple for you. So firstly, copy down the notes and go right over to the edge there. Alright, so a scale drawing. So pretty much it's exactly the same. If you've got a ship for instance, or a truck, or any big object, obviously you can't draw it when it's the same size. You might have a piece of paper like that. So you want to scale it down so it fits on a piece of paper. So it's scaled down with a scale factor or a scale ratio. So it might be like 1/20th the size of a real car. The picture might be 1/20th the size, or a model might be. You might have seen that on TV and stuff. So that's your scale ratio, 1:20. So a scale drawing has exactly the same shape as the original object, but it's got a different size. So all the dimensions are reduced or increased by the scale factor or the scale ratio. So I've just said there it's either multiplied or divided by the scale ratio. And when you work out a scale factor, you have the drawing length first, and then the next one is the actual length in real life. So depending on what the object is, it might be smaller or bigger, depending. I'll talk about that in a minute. One thing you need to know from Year 7 is conversion of units. Kilometres to metres to centimetres to millimetres. This is vital. You must know. There are kilometres to metres, you times it by 1,000, because there's 1,000 metres in a kilometre. 100 centimetres in a metre, and 10 millimetres in a centimetre, and reverse, you divide by those amounts. We'll do that in every question. You'll need to know this. And I'll try to keep this really simple. There are only 2 steps. All you have to do with a number, you just have to work out whether it's getting bigger or smaller, whatever it is you're trying to find. So you're either multiplying or dividing it, the actual value, by the scale factor. That's the first step. And the second step is then just convert the units back to a sensible number. And you're probably saying, what are you talking about? I'll explain exactly what I mean. So there are 2 main types of questions. Let's read the question. A map has a scale factor of 1 to 20,000. 2 towns are 30 centimetres apart on a map. How far is it in real life? So you've got a map on a piece of paper. You measure it with a ruler and it's 30 centimetres apart. And it says the scale factor is 1 to 20,000. So say in real life you're going to go hiking. How far do you need to actually hike? So we need to work that out. And you're allowed to use a calculator for this. So make sure you do. Okay, if you need to. So the first step, look what we've got. We've got 30 centimetres. So I'll write that down. So it's 30 centimetres on our map. So how far is it in real life? So in real life, is it going to be a bigger distance or a smaller distance than the 30 centimetres? So obviously in real life, you're going to walk bigger. It's going to be bigger than 30 centimetres. So bigger means we multiply. And we're going to multiply it by the scale factor. That's all you have to do for the first step. So we times that by 20,000. Everyone got that? I'll start again. There's 30 centimetres apart. That's the distance that you're given. That's on a map. So in real life, it's going to be bigger. So you multiply it. You multiply that distance by the scale factor, which is 20,000. You use your calculator and you say 30 times 20,000, you type it in, and my answer is 600,000. So I'm going to write that down, 600,000, and the units are the same. So there's centimetres, so our answer is 600,000 centimetres. And that is your answer. So that's only one step, but that's not a sensible unit. If I said to someone, I'm going hiking, and I'm going to travel 600,000 centimetres. They'd say, what do you want about? So you want that to be a more sensible unit. So now I'm going to convert it back to metres. So there's 100 centimetres in a metre, so I'm going to divide it by 100. So look back on your conversion of units if you need to. So divide it by 100, I'm just going to chop 2 zeros off. So I get 6,000 metres. So 6,000 metres is still not a sensible unit. I'm going to divide it by 1,000 and I get 6 kilometres. And there's my answer. Now I answer it in words. How far is this? The distance between the two towns is 6 kilometres. And that's a sensible answer, isn't it? So the 30 centimetres on the map is equal to 6 kilometres in real life. See, so that's one where it gets bigger, so you multiply it by the scale factor. Let's do another one. A scale drawing has a scale factor of 1 to 200. So a scale drawing just means it's a picture or a drawing of an object. If the truck, so it's a truck in real life, is 3.2 metres long. So you've got a big truck, it's 3.2 metres, and we've got a scale drawing of it. How long is a scale drawing? So let's have a think. In real life, it's 3.2 metres. On the scale drawing, is it going to be bigger than 3.2 metres or smaller? Obviously the scale drawing is going to be smaller, isn't it? So it fits on our page. So does that mean we multiply it or divide? We divide to make it smaller. So we get 3.2 metres, and we're going to divide it by what? By our scale factor, by 200. So now you use your calculator again. You go 3.2 divided by 200, and we get 0.016. And what are the units? The units are the same, so it's metres. So if I said to someone, and that's our answer, but it's not sensible units. So remember, there's only two steps. The first one, you decide whether you multiply or divide by the scale factor. This time we want it to be smaller, so we divide. So there's our answer. Now we convert to sensible units. Okay, so metres. If I said my drawing is 0.016 of a metre, people will say, how big is that? It makes no sense. So let's convert this to centimetres next. So how do I change metres to centimetres? If I look on my little scale over there, I times it by 100. So times in it by 100, I move the decimal point 2 spots over, and I get 1.6 centimetres. And since it's a drawing, I'm going to times that by 10, change it to millimetres, and 16 millimetres. And there's our answer. That's a sensible unit. 1.6 centimetres is also pretty sensible. But always read the question. It might say give your answer in millimetres. And that's our answer. So they're the two main types of questions you're going to get. So you get a distance, you have to work out whether it's bigger or smaller. If it's bigger in real life, times it by the scale factor, and then convert. If it's smaller in real life, divide by the scale factor, use your calculator, and then convert. You've got these skills from year 7, and that is it for how to do those two types of questions. Okay, there's one last thing over here. It says here, find the scale factor. So this time you're trying to find the scale factor, and it says the length of 4 millimetres on a drawing, so the drawing length is 4 millimetres, equals 50 centimetres in real life. Now if you go back over here to our notes, it says there the drawing length, when you do a scale factor, the drawing length goes first, and the actual length in real life goes second. So if we come back here, the drawing length is 4 millimetres, and that is to 50 centimetres. Okay, so that's our scale, find the scale factor, that is it, but they're not the same units. So remember from our previous lesson, we have to make them the same units. So I'm going to make this one 4 millimetres and make this one 500 millimetres. And now they're the same units, see they're both millimetres, now you don't need units anymore. So it's 4 to 500 because it's a ratio, and which is 2 to 250 or 1 to 125. So the scale factor is 1 to 125, from 4 millimetres to 50 centimetres. So remember, so you write them out in the right order, change them to the same units, and then simplify, and you're done. And that's it, everyone. So that's one of the harder exercises, but hopefully I've made it nice and simple for you. Please do exercise 6D 1 to 7 all, and questions 1 and 2, I think there's quite a lot of questions. If you get really good at it and you want to skip a couple, that's okay, but on the whole, I want you to do the whole exercise. So I'll see you soon.